the man who wrote more about grief than almost anyone in ancient history, stood over his friend's body and did not cry. Not because he didn't feel it, because what he did next was so strange, so specific, and so counterintuitive that it became the only reason we still talk about him 2,000 years later. His name was Seneca, and the day someone he loved died, he did something that modern psychology is only now beginning to understand. What did the Stoics actually do the day someone close to them died? Not what they wrote about death from a distance, what they actually did on that day, in that room. Because if you have ever lost someone, and you have either lost someone or you will, you know that philosophy sounds very different when the person you are grieving is real. Marcus Aurelius lost his mentor, his adoptive brother, and 8 of his children before he was 50 years old. Epictetus lost his freedom before he could choose anything. Seneca lost his closest friend to a sudden accidental death, and later faced forced suicide on Nero's orders himself. These were not philosophers who theorized about grief from comfortable chairs. These were men who lived inside it, repeatedly, and they left detailed records of exactly what they did. The question is not whether their method worked. The question is whether you are doing the opposite and paying the price for it. Let's go back to Seneca. The year is around 62 AD, Rome. His friend Annius Serenus has just died. Suddenly, unexpectedly, after eating poisoned mushrooms at a dinner that should have been ordinary. And Seneca, the man who wrote an entire essay on the shortness of life, is devastated. He writes in letter 63 that he wept so excessively for Serenus that he became an example of a man overcome by grief. And he does not hide this. He sets it down in writing for everyone to see. This is the first thing the Stoics actually did the day someone died. They admitted it hurt, not performed grief for social approval, not suppressed it because Stoics were supposed to be strong. They named it, privately, specifically. Seneca does not write that he felt sadness. He writes that he lost Serenus. The name matters. The specificity matters. The act of sitting with the exact weight of that specific person's absence. This is the first step. Modern grief research calls this naming the loss. It reduces the cognitive load on the prefrontal cortex. It moves the grief from the body's alarm system to the brain's language center, where it can begin to be processed, not just survived. But Seneca did not know that. He just knew that unnamed grief becomes something heavier than grief. He called it carrying a ghost you refuse to see. Now here is where the Stoic method becomes strange. While most of us retreat from reminders of the dead person, avoid their chair, give away their clothes, stop saying their name, the Stoics did the exact opposite. Marcus Aurelius, in the days after losing someone close, would systematically recall every detail of them, not to torture himself, not out of sentimentality, because Marcus believed that a person exists in 2 forms. The first form is the body. That form is temporary. That form dies. The second form is the pattern they created in the world, the way they held their fork, the particular way they disagreed with you, the sound of their laugh in a specific kind of moment. That second form, Marcus believed, could only die if you stopped actively maintaining it. And so he maintained it. On purpose, with discipline, he would write, not about what he had lost, but about what had existed. Present tense, observed, precise. Not, my mentor Antoninus is gone. But Antoninus does not raise his voice in anger. Antoninus does not love display. Antoninus is patient in a way that costs him something. The shift from past to present tense is not denial. It is a refusal to let the pattern dissolve. Modern grief psychology has a name for this. It is called continuing bonds theory. The research emerged in the 1990s and directly contradicted 100 years of grief psychology that said healthy grief required detachment from the deceased. It found the opposite. The people who maintained active, present, specific memory of who the person was, not just that they were gone, showed higher long-term well-being. Not less grief, more meaning. Marcus was doing this in 170 AD, without a lab, without a control group. Just the most powerful man in the world, sitting alone before dawn, writing the name of someone who was no longer there, as though they still were. But there is a third thing the Stoics did, and this one is the hardest. It is the thing that separates Stoic grief from every other method, ancient or modern. The Stoics performed what they called praemeditatio malorum on the day of loss itself. Praemeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, not on the day before, not in abstract philosophical exercises, on the day, in the room, with the grief still raw. Epictetus, who lost people under conditions that most of us cannot imagine, describes a practice that sounds almost unbearable. He says, "When someone you love dies, remind yourself that you are always borrowing them, not losing them, returning them. Never say about anything that I have lost it. Say that I have returned it. A child, a friend, a mentor, all of it borrowed." This is the moment where the Stoic method either becomes the most liberating idea you have ever heard, or the most inhuman one. And Epictetus knows this. He is not naive, because he does not say you should not grieve. He says grief is natural. He says grief is correct. He says the person who does not grieve was never truly attached, and the person who was never truly attached has lost something more important than they know. What he says is this: grief without context becomes a prison. And the context is, you were given something extraordinary for a limited time, and you had it. And it was real. The grief is proof that the loan was worth taking. Now cut to right now. You have lost someone, or you will. And there is a version of you that will retreat into silence, avoid the name, remove the photographs, stop telling the stories, perform functional normality while carrying something that has no shape. That version of you is not strong. That version of you is doing the one thing the Stoics identified as the most dangerous response to grief, making the loss abstract. The Stoics were concrete. Seneca named the specific person. Marcus maintained the specific pattern. Epictetus named the specific context. Borrowed, not owned. Returned, not taken. All three of them, in different centuries, different cities, different levels of power and powerlessness, came to the same structural conclusion. Grief you name becomes something you can carry. Grief you abstract becomes something that carries you. There is one more piece, and this is the one that most people miss. On the day someone died, not a week later, not in the eulogy, not in the philosophy book, Marcus Aurelius did something that seems almost too simple. He continued, not because he was cold, not because he was numb, not because Stoics do not feel, because Marcus had a specific belief about the relationship between continuing and honoring. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But what he meant by continuing was not the same as what we mean. He did not mean pretend to be fine, return to your desk, answer the messages. He meant take the thing this person represented, the virtue they embodied, the quality they brought into the world, and carry it forward on purpose as a practice. If your father was patient with you, be patient with someone else today. If your friend was honest with you, be honest with someone today. If your mentor saw something in you that you couldn't see it in someone else. This is what continuation meant to the Stoics. Not survival, not recovery, propagation. The person you lost created something in the world. The grief is the signal that it had value, and the only form of tribute that the Stoics recognized, the only one, was to ensure that what they created did not end with them. You are not just grieving a person. You are holding a pattern that now has no one else to carry it. The question is not whether you will survive the grief. The question is what you will do with what they left. Marcus Aurelius lost 8 children. He ran an empire through all of it. He did not run the empire despite the grief. He ran it because of what the grief taught him every morning when he sat down to write. Epictetus was enslaved, freed, and found himself the most influential philosopher of his era. Every student who came to him came with grief of some kind. Grief over circumstances, over loss, over the gap between who they were and who they wanted to be. He told them all the same thing. Return what was borrowed with gratitude for the loan. Seneca lost his closest friend and was overcome with grief by his own admission. But he wrote about it, specifically, with the man's name in the text, in letters that survived because other people recognized their own grief in the words. That recognition that you are not uniquely destroyed by this is the Stoic gift. You are not broken. You are in a situation that Marcus Aurelius documented in Latin in 170 AD because he needed to understand it too. And he survived it. He did it by naming, by remembering in the present tense, by returning instead of losing, and by carrying forward what the person left behind. Not as a memorial, as a continuation. The Stoics never tried to cure grief. They tried to make it useful. And there is one question they would ask, that Marcus asked himself on mornings he did not want to rise, on days the weight felt unreasonable, on nights the silence was too specific. What would they have wanted you to do with the day? Not with the grief, with the day. That question is waiting for you. And if you stay, there is something Marcus Aurelius did on those same mornings that changed everything about the way he faced what came next. That is what we look at in the next video. Subscribe, because the story does not end with the grief. It never did.